Welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Thrones. My name's Hannah, and this is another book haul. So that book buying ban that I was on lasted about a month, which, to be fair, was what I said, which was the challenge I set myself. I wanted to see how long I could go without buying books, and I did. Okay, there's only about 8 books here. 2 were sent by subscription boxes, which weren't part of the ban anyway, so we'll just dive right in. So, first off, we have Iron Widow by Jiren Zhao? Jiren? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And this is the Fairy Loot edition? No, Illumicrate with the signed book plate, the sprayed edges. There is embossing on the hardcover, and we have a under dust jacket art there. I love Illumicrate editions, they're so pretty. I like Fairy Loot editions too, but my Fairy Loot hasn't came yet. So it says, "You've been living a dream for long enough. Welcome to your nightmare. The boys of Buexia dream of the celebrity status that comes with piloting chrysalises, giant transforming robots that battle the aliens beyond the Great Wall. Their female co-pilots are expected to serve as concubines and sacrifice their lives. When 18-year-old Zishan offers herself up as a concubine pilot, her plan is to assassinate the ace male pilot responsible for her sister's death. But on miraculously emerging from the cockpit unscathed after her first battle, she's declared an Iron Widow, the most feared pilot of all. Now that Zishan has had a taste of power, she sets her sights on bigger things. The time has come to stop more girls from being sacrificed. The Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim in this dazzling blend of Chinese history and mecha science fiction." So I did like Pacific Rim, what I saw of it. I just never watched that film the whole way through because it's not my thing normally. But look, it matches my shirt. That was anyway. We'll move on. So thank you. Oh, and by the way, I'm not I'm not affiliated with any of the book boxes in my videos. So that's Illumicrate, Book Box Club and Fairy Loot. I pay for them all with my own money, and they're not sent to me or anything like that. Next was the Book Box Club's pick, and this is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. When you peel back the skin of the sea, you never know what you might find. Cimideli is one of the Mami Wata. That does not sound right in my accent, does it? Mermaids who collect the souls of those who died at sea and bless their journeys home. But when a boy is thrown overboard a ship of enslaved people, Simi saves his life, going against an ancient decree and bringing terrible danger to the Mami Wata. Now Simi must journey to the Supreme Creator to make amends, a journey of vengeful gods and treacherous lands. If she fails, she risks not just the fate of the Mami Wata and the boy she loves, but also the world as she knows it. This is a story that will change history, and she is stunning, isn't she? Let's just take a moment to just bask in the glory, and I'm guessing this is Simi. She is pretty. And then the first of the book. Now these are the books that broke the book buying ban. I know. This is The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. This is book 2 or lesson 2 of the Scholomance series, with the first book being A Deadly Education, and I'm sure you all know what A Deadly Education was about. It was a big book of last year or the year before. The dark school of magic where these kids are all studying is trying to kill them, basically. All of the kids have their own magic, and that magic seems to attract the Maleficara? Something along those lines. I'm sure that's what it's called. And the school is built on a spiral, so it goes down. So you start at the top when you go into the school, and then as you go further through the schooling system, you go further down in the actual school. So to graduate, you have to fight your way out of the bottom floor, which is full of these creatures. And to survive, you don't make friends, you make alliances, and Elle just doesn't seem to want to do that. She's happy enough on her own until she is forced to make these alliances. And rather than coming from a convent, I think they're called, or a coven, something like that. Her mother is a bit of a hippie, raised her on her own, so she doesn't have any of the familial ties that the other guys have. They all sort of have lives and good jobs waiting for them if they survive. Elle doesn't have any of that. The writing from these books is, I'm guessing it's the same in this one, but the writing in the first book, The Deadly Education, was very conversationalist, and it is a little bit slow, and it does take a while to get into. So I could deal with it, but I know there are, and I can imagine there are others who enjoy that style, who can put up with it for the sake of a good story or a character, but there are people who just don't like it, so just be wary going into it if you are interested in Deadly Education or The Last Graduate. And yes, I was so excited I bought this in hardback. It's not often that I do that. Then we have the Hawthorn Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the sequel to the Inheritance games, which follows Avery as she is gifted near enough an entire billionaire's fortune, and both Avery and his family want to know why, while also discovering the various plots and schemes that are afoot. What's afoot? It's a thing at the end of your leg. I couldn't resist, I'm sorry. Let's move on before I embarrass myself further with bad jokes. Then we have Nicole Jarvis's The Light of Prague, and I'm not going to lie, the title, because I've been to Prague and want to go back, and the cover are what drew me to this book. In the quiet streets of Prague, all manner of mysterious creatures lurk in the shadows. Unbeknownst to its citizens, their only hope against the tide of predators are the dauntless lamplighters, secret elite monster hunters whose light staves off the darkness each night. Domek Miska leads a life teeming with fraught encounters with the worst kind of evil, Piegevis, bloodthirsty and soulless vampiric creatures. Despite this, Domek finds solace in his moments spent in the company of his friend, the clever and beautiful Lady Aura Fisherova, a widow with secrets of her own. When Domek finds himself stalked by the spirit of the White Lady, a ghost who haunts the baroque halls of Prague Castle, he stumbles across the sentient essence of a will-o'-the-wisp, captured in a mysterious container. Now, as its bearer, Domek wields its power, but the wisp, known for leading travellers to their deaths, will not be so easily controlled. After discovering a conspiracy amongst the Pievish that could see them unleash terror on the daylight world, Domek finds himself in a race against those who claim to twist a chemical science for their own dangerous game. So many words in there I couldn't read, but I haven't heard anything about this one, which seems to be the way I go in Forbidden Planet. I find those hidden gems, but I've been after a new vampire book for a while, and just something about the darker nights screams vampires for me anyway, and like that darker fantasy maybe. And I'm sorry if the tripod is leaning. I think it's broke, and the books are leaning against it as well, so if it falls over we know why. Then we have Natasha Young's The Girls of Paper and Fire. This I've heard more about and have wanted to get my hands on a copy for a while. So, each year 8 beautiful girls are chosen as paper girls to serve the king. It's the highest honour they could hope for, and the most demeaning. This year there's a 9th, and instead of paper, she's made of fire. Lay is a member of the paper caste, the lowest and most persecuted class of people in Ikara. 10 years ago, her mother was snatched by the royal guards, and her fate remains unknown. Now the guards are back, and this time it's Lay they're after, the girl with the golden eyes, whose rumoured beauty has piqued the king's interest. Over weeks of training in the opulent but oppressive palace, Lay and 8 other girls learn the skills and charms that befit a king's consort. There, Lay does the unthinkable. She falls in love. Her forbidden romance becomes enmeshed with an explosive plot that threatens her world's entire way of life, and Lay, still the wide-eyed country girl at heart, must decide how far she's willing to go for justice and revenge. Now, in this one, I'm sure I heard somebody say that it does reference sexual abuse and matters of consent and being a sex worker. So if any of those are triggering for you, just be wary going in. And I believe the king is a demon. I'll have to check that when I actually read it. Then we have another book I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while. I think Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte has read this one or reread it and highly recommends it to everyone. So this is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. Stop the magician, steal the book, save the future. Sounds simple. I'm guessing it won't be. In modern day New York, magic is all but extinct. The remaining few who have an affinity for magic, the mages, live in the shadows, hiding who they are. Any mages who enters Manhattan becomes trapped by the brink, a dark energy barrier that confines them to the island. Crossing it means losing their powers and often their lives. Dun dun dun! Sorry, I haven't done that in a while, have I? Esther is a talented thief, and she's been raised to steal magical artifacts from the sinister order that created the brink. With her innate ability to manipulate time, Esther can pilfer from the past, collecting these artifacts before the order even realises she's there. And all of Esther's training has been for one final job, travelling back to 1902 to steal an ancient book containing the secrets of the order and the brink, before the magician can destroy it and doom the mages to a hopeless future. But old New York is a dangerous world ruled by ruthless gangs and secret societies, a world where the very air crackles with magic. Nothing is as it seems, including the magician himself. And for Esther to save her future, she may have to betray everyone in the past. This is quite big, and it's nice and floppy. Then the last book I bought is a cute little middle grade that I saw on Jade from JD Ray Reads' channel, and that is How Not to Be a Vampire Slayer by Katie Birchall. Never go into the Skeleton Woods, not if you want to come out alive, that is. Maggie Helsby isn't afraid of spooky legends, and she's willing to prove it. But when she agrees to a date to venture into the forest, she doesn't expect to find 1. A creepy castle enchanted against humans, 2. A vegetarian vampire who wants to be her friend, 3. An ancient book naming her as the latest of the Helsby Slayers. Can Maggie persuade her family, her new human friends, and the greedy Mayor Cauliflower that their nocturnal neighbours need protecting just as much as they do, or will her neck be on the line? Featuring fluffy bats, creaking coffins, and lashings of tomato ketchup, this book will have you howling with laughter. Now, I think Jade has just recently read this, and she really enjoyed it, and there is a really cute bat in here. And you can never have too many cute bats. So I think this is actually one haul where I can pick all the books up. I like these short hauls, and then while I'm arranging them, watch them all fall over. But yeah, ta-da! A nice little short book haul for you, and a nice short video. So if you've heard of any of these books, if you've read any of these books, let me know. Let me know if there's any that you think I should get to first, and I'll see you down in the comments. So that's it for this video. Give it a like if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this and talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.